the left and Boy stayed onside. Here's Mounier. 2-0 Huddersfield Town on the opening day of the Premier League. De Platter's forward. De Platter's got the better. Yes! And Laurent De Platter scores! Laurent De Platter scores!
It's in the box. It's in there! It's in there! It's there! It's on the run! It's in there! The King of Bolton!
Hello and welcome to The Drive-In, the Huddersfield Town preview show that doesn't fly off to Brazil to commentate on another tournament when the FA Cup comes around. The collective sigh of despair in Bolton and Huddersfield could be heard in the studios when the two were paired together for the first round of the FA Cup, a match neither set of fans wanted or were bothered for. And with that sets the tone perfectly for an enthusiastic drive-in with myself, Matt Shaw, and Ian Kilroy. Are you all right, mate?
I'm grateful for you today, Matt. I appreciate you. I'm currently in Ayr in a castle, and we've got the 7 kids here, and we've been here now over a week, and we've got another couple of days. I still don't fancy going to Bolton, to be honest, on Saturday, but this is a nice little break away from the realities of day-to-day life. That is how tough this week has been, that even me, after what Town have put us through the last couple of games, are looking at this driving, Matt, as something quite positive in my week.
Well, that's maybe just you. We've played Bolton recently, and those 2 last-minute goals still rankle a little bit, doesn't it? But I think that was a bit of a fork in the road kind of moment, maybe for both clubs. For us, everything's kind of gone worse and miserable, and we've been duffed last week at Wickham. The mood in Huddersfield is pretty low, very poor. I think it's as low as I've seen it for quite a long time at Huddersfield, whereas over at Bolton things were a little bit hit and miss. There's a funny section saying Schumacher should be sacked, and there was a bit of a groundswell for that, and then that last minute winner at our place, or last minute winners at our place, followed by a last minute winner against Cardiff, and all of a sudden things are starting to look a bit rosy in Bolton as they're now 7th in the league.
Yeah, they always looked all right beforehand. The fans, Matt, as we spoke about on the previous driving for Bolton, they're not happy. They aren't happy. And I do think with Bolton, it comes down to how they perceive themselves as being a massive club. Obviously, they've been in the Premier League for such a long time, quite a while ago now, but they still have that kind of ego, similar to Town fans, I think. I think we go through something a little bit similar. But to me, if you looked at Bolton up to the previous game against them, okay, the results weren't great, but on the field, you could see them getting into position. You could see them improving somewhat. And for me, as we spoke about before, Matt, it was a matter of time before it clicked and they went on a little bit of a run. And as ever, Charity FC turned up, or they turned up to our place, and we've gifted them the ultimate benefit of a nice win at the end of a game where at half-time the fans were not very happy with them. They weren't very happy with Bolton's first half performance, but the way they got it together late on obviously set them on a way now where they've had a decent win against, well, a good, maybe great win against Cardiff in the last minute. And they look like a total different team to what they were just 2 days ago. The fans are the exact opposite of where we are at this moment in time. And doesn't it just show you, Matt, how quickly football can change, how it can be looking like it's pretty poor, like you're going backwards, like it's frustrating, like you've got the wrong people in the job. And then all of a sudden, a couple of last-minute goals gets you a couple of wins and things look very, very different. I don't think we could do with anything more than that right now. We'd love it. I think this is, okay, a cup game, Matt, but seeing what Bolton have done with just 2 decent results, we need to get something. We need to do something positive this weekend.
Some excitement would indeed be nice. We've not had any for quite a while. So I think we should get into it straight away, mate. I believe that somebody is ready to gather. So the students are gathering. Mr. Grant, I believe, is in session.
Oh, geography is all that we ever were. Oh, geography is all that we ever were.
Okay, so it's time to look at the past detailing and the pitch geography, as we have a pitch geography lesson from Mr. Grant. So, Killer, we will have, obviously, as always, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see our little tactics board up in front of us. If you're listening, we will always do our best to describe what's happening on screen so you don't feel like you are missing out. Right, mate. So I suppose the big question really is, why have I got Huddersfield Town in yellow? And that's because the coaching manual, which I'm using on the tactics board here, don't have a green option. I think Huddersfield Town will be in green this coming weekend. Bolton, as usual, will be in white. And they like to play 4-2-3-1 and /4-4-2 sometimes. And I don't really see any deviation as to why they would do that. I think the only question we've got really is how serious are both teams going to take this game? Is this going to be one where both teams are going to try and get themselves knocked out, which we do see sometimes in the Cup, allegedly? Or is it one where they're going to play a full-strength team and have a go at it? So I kind of think Town don't really have much choice due to lack of numbers, whereas Bolton are the ones who've got far more choice. And you know what? There was something that was sent to me quite recently as well, Killer, and I'm going to dig this out now because I found it really interesting. So obviously we have a Discord, don't we? So if you ever find your way to our Discord, which if you sign up to the Patreon, you can sign up free or a paid option. If you go into the community section of Patreon, there's a link whereby you can sign up to our Discord, and I'll put it in the description if I remember at the end as well. But one of the guys on our Patreon, Gentari, so thank you to this. He doesn't know that I'm going to steal this, and he also sounds like maybe he's come from some kind of He-Man character there. But what he's put is I'm pretty sure he's used ChatGPT or something for this. But he's got like a head-to-head Huddersfield versus Bolton injury spikes. And I thought it was really interesting because I'm someone who collects the injury data on Huddersfield, basically to hammer them with when it comes to the review show. And these are the metrics that it came up head-to-head Huddersfield versus Bolton injury spikes. Total pre-club injured minutes. Huddersfield 21,879. So this is this season. Bolton 11,472. And the reason why we're doing this is Bolton fans are claiming they've had a lot of injuries this year. They don't know nothing. When you compare the two stats, honestly, they don't know nothing. Total at club injured minutes this season, Huddersfield 31,344, Bolton 13,248. So the difference it shows with the club, pre-club, and at club injured minutes is that if you go to Huddersfield, you are 91% at higher risk of being injured than you were when you were at your previous club. At club injured minutes, Huddersfield are 137% worse than Bolton at the minute. Overall percentage increase, Huddersfield is 43%, Bolton 15%. Huddersfield 2.9 times worse than Bolton. Players with over 100% spike, 8 for Huddersfield, which is 30% of injuries. Bolton are 4, so Huddersfield got double that rate. Players with new injuries, there's 2 each, Erhan and Kasumu. Players with reduced injuries, 11 for Huddersfield, 10 for Bolton, which is good management in that case. And then the averaged injured minutes player at the club, Huddersfield 1,168, Bolton 509. So Huddersfield again more than double Bolton's. And just go back to that at the start. Sorry, the pre-club injured minute. I misread it at the start. Pre-club injured minutes is obviously the players, how many minutes they spent injured in the season before, and how much they've spent in, and then it was how much they've spent injured when signing for Huddersfield. I think I've got that out correctly. So, and this season's injured minutes to October the 29th, Huddersfield 4,500 and Bolton 3,600. So Huddersfield have got 25% worse absences than Bolton. And the reason I've gone through that and the fact that we are cursed coming up to Halloween and all that is because the Huddersfield team is going to be an interesting one because I'm not sure what we're going to see. Bolton, do you know what, Killer? I think I've got a feeling that they might go strong with this one because I think when you've won a couple of games, I think the best thing to do is to try and keep the momentum going. I think that's what Schumacher will do. So Teddy Sharman-Lowe is the goalkeeper. Cogley will probably continue at right back, I would say, Josh Cogley. Centre backs, Owen Toll is back in. There's a good fantasy football team name, isn't there? When the bell toll and all that sort of stuff, you get one out of that. Johnston, left centre back, George Johnston. He's done pretty well as George Johnston over the last couple of years for Bolton. He's been a bit of a stalwart of the of their previous campaigns. He's been there since 2021 now. They brought him back from I think he'd had a spell at Feyenoord for a couple of years after being released by Liverpool. And he's now played over 150 games for Bolton. The left back is Max Conway. He's been pretty much never present this season, so he's played 14 games. In midfield, which is interesting because this is where it could change a little bit. Xavier Simons is the man who plays in midfield. We were noticing beforehand that Aaron Morley had been subbed off in his previous game, so maybe he might be ready for this one. If he doesn't, Josh Sheehan could play alongside him. Cozy Dewberry will probably play on the right hand side, and then Mason Burstow up front with Ose Tutu on the left, and then maybe Marcus Force just behind. But they do have a couple of options, don't they, in regards to that? And Sam Dalby as well could find himself playing up front after he causes a lot of problems last time. And John McAteer can also come into that number 10 role as well. So either way, it's a good Bolton team, isn't it, that you would expect to cause us a lot of problems, Killer. Ibrahim Sissoko could be given another go on the left-hand side. He's not had the best of times. He might be looking for a charity FC job to help him out and get into some form. But other than that, I think it makes sense for Bolton to go pretty strong in this game.
Yeah, they don't have a game midweek either following, unlike us, obviously. We've got Mansfield on Tuesday night. Their game in the Virtue Trophy is the week after, so they've got a gap. And with you, Matt, they've found form after a bit of a rough patch. I don't think they're going to change it too much. They may be a young lad coming at centre-back or whatnot. Sometimes that's kind of what you go with in these situations. You might put a couple of young lads in, but 80% of this is going to be a strong team. I do think Dalby will start. I do think Morley will come in. But you have to remember, Matt, that they've won the games late on when these guys have been on the field. So I don't actually think it's weakening the starting 11 whatsoever. These are guys that have come on and influenced games and won them against decent, if you class ourselves as decent, League One opposition between Town and Cardiff City. So they're a really good outfit, Matt. We know they're a good outfit. We're victims of them only a few days ago, really. So now I think we know what Bolton are going to throw at us. We just have to be better than we were last time round. But I think it's a bigger game for us, Matt, for the same reason Bolton are having to put out the strong team because they found form. I think even though, yes, Matt, we have injuries, as you've mentioned, we're going to have to do something because we've got to find a way of getting our strikers the ball. And I think our team selection will be centred around being able to try and find a new way or any way of doing that.
Yeah, there could be a return for Victor Adebayejo, who is back from injury as well for Bolton, so he may get a run out at some point as well. He's a big, strong, strapping man who can knock defenders around with ease. So on to the Town 11. Goodman or Nichols? If there's ever a time to put Goodman back in, it's probably this one.
I think it has to be Goodman. I don't think Nichols has done anything wrong, and I thought he was actually, pretty good's understating it last time out. I think he was great, but for whatever reason, since the Goodman's been out, Nichols recently, I just don't think, and I know you and I disagree on this, and I know a lot of people really like Lee Nichols. I like him as a person. I think his abilities as a goalkeeper is great. But for whatever reason, our defence isn't working as well as it did at the beginning of the season. It's just not. And now Goodman last year in League Two, admittedly, with an AFC Wimbledon side, which we're learning is actually much better than most people had it down for going into this season. I like Owen Goodman. And I know he had a game of making silly decisions and he hasn't really recovered from it just yet. But we need to find a spark from somewhere. So even if this was a League One game, Matt, I'd be looking at putting Goodman back in just to find some sort of difference somewhere because I really think we're struggling. But with it being a cup game, I think it's an absolute no-brainer that Goodman has to come in for this one. If League One is true to himself in that he wants everybody to be fit and ready to go at all times, it's a total no-brainer that Owen Goodman will start in goal for us on Saturday.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to put him back in. For me, the defence not doing well is mostly back down to Watmo and Rowan not been part of it. In all honesty, but,
probably.
And Gooch as well. Gooch has not really played that much either. So I think Goodman will come back in because I don't think you can take a player on loan from Crystal Palace and park him on the bench all season when he's expected to be one of the bright young things coming through. So I think he might end up being the cup goalkeeper for now. And then if he does well, he'll keep his shirt kind of thing. Defence, I think Sean Rowan will come in at left back. I think we'll look to be a bit more solid. I think Rowan will come in. Lowe and Feeney are the only fit centre backs, I think, at the minute. Wallace is injured. Watmore's injured. Balker apparently needs minutes, but I don't think you can throw him straight in. So I think he will more likely come off the bench at some point if they do want to see Radinho Balker. Sorensen will probably play right back, continue at right back, unless they decide to go with Jay Sway, but Jay Sway may come in for the Mansfield game in the Virtue Trophy. Midfield is questionable. I think he'll go.
Picking it, Matt? Do you mean picking it, or just in,
I mean,
general?
there isn't anyone. I mean, I really didn't think Lyndon Gucci midfield worked particularly well. I'll be honest,
No.
but it never was going to. I think he might go with Dan Vost and Ryan Ledson in this one. Dan Vost has done quite well in the cup games so far. Let him have a go. So I think he'll play. Wide right, Lyndon Gooch, possibly. I don't think we're far away from putting Gooch in an attacking role, whether it's wide right or wide left, because Castledine's out. I think Harness will go at number 10. And then left wing. See, Joe Taylor's going to have to go up front because Alfie May's suspended. Ben Wiles has been so poor that I don't even want to put him in the side. So we're thinking Gooch could either play on the right or left here. And then Ben Wiles could potentially play at 10 and then Harness on the right. The different options, maybe Cameron Ashier comes in because, again, he's a player who's played in the Cup. So maybe Ashier comes in on the left. You could have Gooch on the right and Harness at 10, and then you've got all of a sudden you've got attacking players who can run at them. I think that's potentially what I would do. It's nothing on Ruben Ruskin, by the way. He's just looked a little bit jaded, hasn't he? The last couple of games towards the end, he did actually have a bit of a stinker against Wickham, but that's I think what he'll go with. I personally would still go with a 3-4-1-2. 3-4-2-1. But I don't think Grant's going to go that way, unfortunately. So it'll be a 4-2-3-1. So just to clarify, I think it's going to be Goodman, Sorensen, Lowe, Feeney, Rowan, Vost, and Ledson. The number 10, Harness, Gooch on the right, Ashier on the left, and Joe Taylor up front. And I think Ben Wiles and Ruskin will find themselves on the suspension this week.
Yeah, and I think it would have been a much weaker first 11, Matt, had we not had Mansfield coming up on Tuesday night. I think that's going to be pretty much a B team, a C team nearly when it comes to who we have starting Tuesday night. I do think Dion Charles will start, Matt, though, and I think Charles will start as a winger. I think he'll start as one of the wide guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think he had a little run out at it against, was it Harrogate? He played a little bit deeper and wide and seemed okay. I can't remember which game.
Played him in the league a few times, didn't he, there? And he was all right, to be fair.
Just because I think we've got so few bodies. Ruskin, I'd give him more or less this and Tuesday off with his face and whatnot, and he's played through that. I don't think he's worked his way out of the team, and if you were picking your strongest 11, I would have him in it for this weekend. I'd be surprised, Matt. The thing with Ledson, I don't remember if he's played in any cup game yet this year. I'm pretty sure Grant has started him in every league game, but then left him out of the cup games. But like you say, with the Tuesday night and so few of the centre midfielders available to us, I don't see that being an option anymore for him on Saturday. George Upenda's probably a good shout as well at centre-back, Matt, but that again might be Tuesday night. I doubt we'll do a drive-in for that before then, so maybe I get that in at this point. But I believe he was in the travelling squad anyway last weekend. I can't remember if he was picked for it or not against Wickham, but he was definitely travelling with the first team. But I'm with you, Matt. Taylor has to start as number 9 because we've got very few other options. But I think Charles might start on one side. And I would like to see Ashier on the left-hand side. Gooch will get a chance at it at some point. And like you say, Matt, maybe that is this week. Again, through lack of options. But then Sorensen could also play higher, Matt, if necessary. Yeah. It's an interesting one. It's not the most interesting. It's not the most exciting will be this season. But I think it's very difficult to nail down what Lee Grant will do because he has generally rotated quite a lot in all the cup games. It's just with Tuesday night coming up in a cup that's probably less important to the club than the FA Cup is, even though we've got more chance of doing okay in it. It's a bit of a pot luck for me, Matt, this one. It's just all about if we can actually create chances against a defence that I think will be League One like we've mentioned. Bolton will put a decent team out, so we have to and we'll have to work hard to create chances. So it'll still be interesting to see if a more direct option in Ashier on one side can do something that nobody else has really managed to over the last few games. So whilst I'm not entirely sure what the team is, I'm looking forward to seeing what it is and seeing how it plays, because whilst it doesn't matter how the results are in the FA Cup, because we aren't going to challenge anyway past the third round when you consider we had Man City at home and didn't really go for it in that one in the League Cup third round, FA Cup is going to be targeted, but we can look at how Town are trying to use things on the grass, on the training field, work in there to see if we can pass through the thirds a little bit better and create some chances for once, because it really is about time we started taking, never mind taking chances, Matt, making chances. Maybe that's what we need to rename the podcast.
Can he make that chance? Town have won once in the last 8 games. Can they make it 2 in 9? What's your prediction, mate?
Oh man, I'll go a draw. I'll go a draw in this one. Even though I think Bolton will put a stronger team out than we will, I don't think the Bolton players will be targeting it as much as we are having to work. I think we're in a mode of desperation at the moment, and I think with the change in Lee Grant's approach to his press conference today and how he spoke after the game against Wickham, I think we're desperate. And I'm not saying Lee Grant's going to be on the chopping block tomorrow or on Saturday if we don't win, of course, it's a cup game. But I think things have changed. It feels like things have changed, and I think every game at the moment matters. So it'll matter more to us than it will to Bolton. But I think Bolton are a much better unit than we are. So I'll go a 1-1 draw, Matt, and Joe Taylor to be offside probably 17 times, but to actually score.
Who's going to win on penalties then if it goes to 1-1? Because it has to be settled on the day, doesn't it? There's no replays anymore in the first round of the FA Cup.
We'll win on penalties. We don't lose penalty shootouts anymore. That's not Huddersfield Town. We've still got the German influence that shall always remain, and we shall always be dominant in penalty shootouts.
I'm going to go 3-0 Bolton. I just don't see. I'm just not up for this. I just don't think Town need a response, and they never do. When you need a response, well, in fact, do we need to respond in the cup? I don't know. Lee Grant needs to get a tune out of this team, and I just don't. With the injury situation, I just don't see that happening at the minute. I don't see cohesion on there, and there's so many gaps in this team that startling at the minute. I'm just looking through that team I've picked at the minute. There's just such an imbalance there. The two centre backs, Lowe and Feeney, they're not particularly aerially dominant. I think in the air for someone who's 6'5", Joe Lowe's quite poor. I've gone through that a number of times on the podcast. Not so much his winning of the headers, but what he does when he wins it, in how he heads it down, not very far. We are incredibly static. We are unable to get the ball into the final third very quickly and very well. I don't think Ledson and Dan Vos changed that at any point. Wide, I think Ashia and Gooch would bring something a little bit different, which is width, but we've not played with any width for a while, and we find ourselves really struggling to transition from the middle to the final third. So I don't, and Joe Taylor up front, there's no out ball whatsoever. Joe Taylor doesn't provide an out ball. He doesn't hold the ball up. He basically ambles around to get into goal scoring opportunities or goal scoring positions, and we can't create chances anyway. So Joe Taylor's going to look incredibly frustrated all game. There's no out ball whatsoever. Harness maybe a little bit in terms of holding the ball up, but nobody can. If you're under pressure or you can't keep the ball, we've got nobody who you can just whack the ball in the corner and they'll chase it and win the ball high up the pitch and then lay it off, and then you can play in that final third. It's just such. It's such a. I think Town have really overlooked a lot of the attacking areas of recruitment, and I did tread lightly on that at the start of the season. And now I'm just like, now I can see it developing. I'm just like, you've completely neglected an area of the pitch, whilst maybe overcompensating in another way.
It is naivety, Matt. It is a naivety to go out and just buy strikers that score goals without realising you also have to get the players to get the balls in the right position for even strikers as good as Alfie May to score goals. And I really do feel like over the summer that's what we've missed. And if we can get to January still in contention, I know we feel like we say this every single transfer window, that we have to get this right for the season to continue or to get better from that point on, and we don't seem to do it at all at any point over the last 3 or 4 years.
We've got no idea.
But we just didn't.
It feels like we've got no idea what we're doing, does it? On this podcast,
it feels
in general. So,
just us. But no, you're right, Matt. It is, to me, I'm exactly in the same place as you are, in that we've gone out and bought the guys that scored goals and then lazily thought to ourselves, oh, they'll score, we don't have to worry about it now. With the plug-and-play kind of guys, they'll just go out and score goals, and we've proven by destroying the goal-scoring records of striker after striker after striker after striker recently that it isn't working. And I'm with you, Matt. We have got so many injuries, so many lack of options now at this point as well. that it is hard for us to create chances. However, I do think this week we'll play deep, Matt, and we'll counter-attack through fast wingers like Ashia and maybe Dion Charles on the other side. That's what I'd be going for personally anyway, because that's the only way I think we have any sort of hope of trying to push the ball forward. They aren't fast, Matt. They're not the out balls like what you're after, like your Leon Knights kind of get us a long time ago, and that. But that's the kind of thing you're speaking of. And they're not those kind of guys.
More than Leon Knight.
I don't know if we can talk about Delroy Facey anymore, Matt. I don't know if we can do that. Dear. But we don't have those kind. I don't think we haven't got the options for that ball. You are right, so we have to find it a different way. I think the best we've got, and what I'd like to see, is Asher on one side, see if his directness can offer something else, because it's slim pickings elsewhere. Matt, I've got no idea how Town try and move the ball forward to get it into the right positions for the strikers to score goals, because we haven't seen it, and that has been the one common denominator of Town over this season so far, is that we just can't get the ball in the right positions. And it's going to be tough to find any sort of setup this weekend where we can. But maybe, Matt, a bit of positivity wouldn't go amiss. So I'm backing a 1-1 draw and a win on penalties.
Well, I think we saw from the early part of the game against Wickham, they were trying to play the ball into Harness, who was at number 10. And Harness was pretty adept at playing those little balls through. And he was finding some decent angles. And if you have a Gooch and an Ashia, that kind of player, a little higher up, a little wider, then maybe Harness can find those balls and that those guys can get round the sides and do something. That's what I'm hoping for, and that's why I've picked that 4-2-3-1, or how I see the 4-2-3-1. And then when those boys get wide, maybe you can get the ball into Taylor then in areas. And that is literally the only way I think Town can play this game and potentially do something. But I just don't see, like we pointed out, the easy thing to do last week against Wickham, they didn't do it. So I don't think they'll do the easy thing again this week either, because they just don't seem to want to do it. So I'm going to say that he's going to pick a really awkward team with Ben Wiles on the right, and we're going to lose 3-0.
Joyful. Well, do you know what, Matt? I'm coming home Saturday, and we are going past Bolton just in time for me to jump out and go and watch it. And I will make that decision on Saturday afternoon, and I'll probably be home to try and watch it on a dodgy stream if I can. I'm only joking. I don't do that. That's not on. I'll be listening to Matty Glennon be as amazingly miserable as he is when we suffer another horrible defeat. It's not getting me excited to go to the games at the moment, Matt. I'll be totally honest.
No, and I think we'll call it there, mate, because you're over chasing pixies in Scotland, and I've got things to do as well. So we'll call it there. Thanks everybody for listening. Remember to sign up for the Patreon. If you do, remember you can join the Discord as well, amongst other things. And also, Killer's going to do the bike ride from Ipswich to Huddersfield as part of the M&D for the Derby Rimmer Foundation M&D, for raising money for that awareness and for Marcus Stewart and all that stuff as well, which we spoke to Sean Jarvis about recently as well on the podcast, which is fantastic. And you can go and have a look at our interview with Sean. And you can go to P4P M&D as well. P4P, can't even speak. I've still got this cold killer. It's still killing me. But P4PMND.co.uk, and you can have a look on there, maybe sign up, and maybe you could go for a nice little bike ride with Killer from Ipswich to Huddersfield as well. But it's a really great cause for a fantastic person in Marcus Stewart and everyone else as well that's got that horrible disease. So please check it out, and when we do push it, retweet it, like it. If it even doing something as little as putting it in front of a different pair of eyes, it really helps. So thanks everybody for that, and we'll be back this weekend for the review show, and we'll be back with bells and whistles on, I'm sure.
Huddersfield blue and white. Huddersfield town, everything's gonna be alright. Huddersfield town, Huddersfield blue and white. Huddersfield town, everything's gonna be alright. Don't want no Man United, don't want no Liverpool, don't want no Arsenal. All we want is Huddersfield town, Huddersfield town, Huddersfield town, Huddersfield blue and white. Huddersfield town, everything's gonna be alright. Huddersfield Town, Huddersfield Town, Huddersfield blue and white. Huddersfield Town, everything's gonna be alright. Don't want no Tottenham, don't want no Chelsea, don't want no Man City. All we want is Huddersfield Town, Huddersfield Town, Huddersfield Town, Huddersfield blue and white. Huddersfield Town, everything's gonna be alright. Huddersfield Town, Huddersfield blue and white. Huddersfield Town, everything's gonna be alright. Don't want no Man United, don't want no Liverpool, don't want no Arsenal. All we want is Huddersfield Town, Huddersfield Town, Huddersfield Town, Huddersfield blue and white. Huddersfield Town, everything's gonna be alright. Huddersfield Town, Huddersfield blue and white. Huddersfield Town, everything's gonna be alright. Huddersfield Town, Huddersfield blue and white. Huddersfield Town, everything's gonna be alright. Huddersfield Town, Huddersfield blue and white. Huddersfield Town, everything's gonna be alright.
We bleed blue and white.